Yesterday, LASK came to town and Celtic put on a show. A massive win for Celtic. It was Benjamin Negrin and, of course, Camilo Duran, who it was a couple of absolute stunners. I caught up with Record Sports' Ryan McDonald, and he gave me his reaction to a pretty famous win at Celtic Park. And I'm joined here by Ryan McDonald. Ryan, what a game at Celtic Park last night. Did Martin O'Neill have one of these for the goals?
Classic joystick. I mean, it was another magical night at Celtic Park last night. The Champions League anthem really set the tone at the start. You know, that famous roar. You know, Celtic fans have been yearning for that for the past year, and Celtic were pretty sensational. I thought, obviously, LASK gave Celtic an early scare with that disallowed goal. I think it was inside 28 seconds. There was a panic stations for maybe the first 10 minutes. I think Cameron Carter-Vickers get left for dust as well, with the big American bulldozer up front, beating for pace and went one-on-one with Sinisalo and dragged his shot wide of the post. But, you know, I think gradually Celtic, they gradually grew into the game and began to assert themselves, especially in the middle of the park. I thought Callum McGregor did quite well to get a grip of the engine room. When LASK were, you know, they were threading through some nice balls and they were taking play over nicely. There was a couple of boys in the middle of the park there that were causing Celtic issues as well. But I thought that Celtic really came alive. We'll probably touch upon it, but Benjamin Negrin's goal really was excellent. It was something that I think Celtic fans have just become accustomed to seeing from Benjamin Negrin, especially this season. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time. It was a kind of basic cross ball from Kieran Tierney, which LASK failed to deal with. It fell perfectly for Benjamin Negrin in the edge of the penalty area, and he just was absolutely rifled at home. And I think that really settled the nerves for Celtic. And obviously, Camilo Duran shortly afterwards, an absolute screamer of a volley. You know, I don't think any keeper in world football saving that. It was an absolute...
It was almost in the same place as well, like right in the edge of the ball, same kind of strike. Bang.
And you know how good a goal like that is when by the crowd's reaction, the noise. It wasn't a typical celebration from the fans. It was like a whoa kind of moment. You know, it was. I don't think anybody was expecting him to hit it so sweetly. And it was such a clean strike. And as I say, I don't think any keeper in football's keeping that out the back of the net. So Duran, he was excellent. He's been excellent for the past couple of weeks, to be fair, at Kilmarnock, getting assists. He smashed the crossbar. At Tannadice, he obviously opened his goal account. And then last night, I think Duran is going to be a superstar in the making. That was really, I think he laid down a marker there. You know, this guy scored 5 goals in the Champions League for Qarabağ last season, and you know what, if Celtic make it this year, you probably wouldn't put it past him hitting kind of similar heights. He was absolutely outstanding. I mean, attacking wise, he was just a constant threat, but defensively as well, Angus, there was a point where he made a lung-busting run back, probably must have been about 75-80 minutes, to help out Colby Donovan, and the stadium just rose to their feet and just gave him a standing ovation, a huge round of applause. He was just outstanding. He was electric from start to finish, and Celtic have got a real player in their hands there, a real player. I don't like pushing players out the door before, you know, when they've only just arrived, but for me, this boy is going to be the next £30 million player to leave Scottish football. I can see him going on to become, you know, to reach a real high level.
I think Martin O'Neill was saying, I don't want to call him a world-class player, but he was put in a world-class performance. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very rare that Martin O'Neill, being an old-school manager he is, dishes out such kind of praise to any of his players. I don't think even he's quite reluctant to even do it with Henrik Larsson back in the day at times as well, and definitely a very own Chris Sutton. But it was a performance of the highest calibre for me. It was outstanding. It just ran riot. And the thing is as well, Angus, you need to remember he isn't even playing his best position at the minute. His best position is as a striker, and he's playing out wide right to accommodate Casper who probably didn't have the best of games, but still he's such a kind of focal point up front. He worked his socks off, and I think he just links up play pretty well as well. His hold up play really gave Celtic an outlet to move forward with, and obviously he was involved in the third goal as well, which Camilo Duran expertly put away. So I think overall you just see the difference in quality from this time last year, where they were powder puff up front against Carrick Almaty, to now where they've got proven Champions League goal scorers, and that was the difference. I said it last night before the game, that would be the difference.
Still back at that as well, looking at that kind of nightmare for Celtic. You look at the importance of recruitment. When you look at just these two signings that Celtic have made, how much they've raised the mood at Celtic Park as well, and that will have just solidified it.
Yeah, they've totally galvanised the club. The mood music's completely changed, and that's what happens when you spend money in quality. I think the only money Celtic spent on a striker last season was £1.5 million in Shin Yamada, and they were relying on him to bail Brendan Rodgers' side out a trouble against Carrick Almaty last year. And then you look at the team that they fielded last night. I thought even with Arnie Engels obviously gone and Alistair Johnson injured, it was still a really strong lineup. Mika Bauer in the middle of the park as well. He obviously made his full debut, and I thought it was really impressive. He covered some amount of grass. I think he covered probably every blade of grass last night. He was everywhere. He was unlucky with a couple of shots at target as well. He was creative. He was a bundle of energy, and you need to remember, as I said, he's not really played much at all this summer or pre-season. But early impressions, he looks a real find as well. So Celtic are ticking along nicely, and it was one of their kind of best European performances in a while. I look back at obviously that campaign when Celtic beat Leipzig and went toe to toe with Bayern Munich. So you're looking, that's probably up there with that type of performance. And I think that if they can just continue to sprinkle a wee bit of quality into this squad, we spoke about it last night, I think they definitely need another midfielder in the ilk of Arnie Engels. They need cover at left back. I think they still need a winger, and obviously need a second goalkeeper there as well. So if they can add 3 or 4 additional quality signings, then I think Celtic are going to be in a really, really good place. And certainly domestically, I don't think there's anybody that can stop them.